Hi again, Ami Devereaux here. Now, hopefully you watched the last video and you've written a letter to yourself from the future. If you haven't done that, go back and watch that video, figure out what it's all about, write the letter, and come back and watch this video because then it will make sense. And make sure you subscribe because this is a series. And by the way, I prefer you subscribe on the website because then you'll continue to get the series when the videos revert back to a newsletter. But that's up to you. You can subscribe on YouTube. Okay, you've got the letter, you've got several goals. Hopefully, you only have 4 or 5 specific goals. How are you going to make those goals come true? Remember, our aim here is for you to have the very most amazing 2019 imaginable and to accomplish the things that you truly want to accomplish. So let's just take a simple example of the kind of goal you might have. Let's say you want to run a 5K by the end of the year, but right now you're not a runner at all. So what you do is you go all the way forward to that end of the year, and you see that you're running a 5K. Let's say it's on January 10th of 2020. Now you rewind all the way back to today and look at where you are right now, and you walk out the door and you run. Maybe right now you can only run around the block. That's fine. Start from where you are. The next thing you want to do is you want to carve up the year working backwards. So if you start at January 10th, 2020 on a date that you can run 5K, which is 3.1 miles, now you want to work backwards in steady increments with milestones. So maybe you go back to where you can only run 2.5 miles, and then back to where you can run 2 miles, and back to where you can run 1.5. Obviously, you're going to have to figure out how long it might take you. Let's say it takes you a month to conquer a mile, and it takes you a little bit longer to conquer the second mile, and so forth. By that way, you'll get all the way back to the present where you can only run around the block and you'll have milestones. Now, to actually accomplish those milestones, here's something you need to bear in mind. Nothing in the universe happens outside of time. Time is a constant. So you cannot accomplish being able to run a 5K without dedicating the time that it's going to take to do the repeated behaviors necessary to develop the stamina and the strength to be able to do that. That means you're going to have to perform an action over and over, and that action will require a specific investment of time. So take all of your milestones and then subdivide them into specific behaviors that will add up to accomplishing the milestones. In the case of running a 5K, well, it's not rocket science. You're going to have to walk out the door and run. That might be a slow jog to start. It might be a walk, jog, jog to start. That's fine. You start from where you are, you build through these repeated behaviors, and you accomplish the milestones. I know this may seem kind of remedial, but when you break it down like this, it suddenly becomes something you can accomplish. Now, here's the next thing. You're going to take all of those behaviors, those regular runs, and you're going to put them in your calendar. The calendar is going to be a repetitive theme, and we're going to revisit this over and over throughout this series of videos. And we're going to talk about what your relationship to your calendar should be. But for the purpose of this one video, all I want you to do is put appointments in your calendar for the specific days on which you're going to run and the time at which you're going to do it. So it might be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday at, say, 7 a.m. If you're not a morning person, do it at 7 p.m. It doesn't matter. You choose what works for you. You're in charge. But put it in your calendar, book out the time, and plan to actually do it. Create an alert for yourself so that it reminds you you're going to do it. And put in your calendar all of the preliminary things you may need to do to prepare for this. You may need to buy shoes. You may need to buy running shorts. If you live in the north and you're dealing with snow, you may need to buy a scarf and appropriate gloves. Get the right stuff. Maybe you need to join a gym and run on a treadmill. It doesn't matter. You do what works for you. Put it all in your calendar and carve out the time. Now, we're going to be, in this video, continuing to follow the course of doing this in order to make sure that you have the best 2019 imaginable. And the same idea can be applied to all of your other goals. You're increasing revenue in your business. There's going to be behaviors that take place. Put them in your calendar and do them. You want to add to your team in your enterprise? Great. Figure out what the end point is, work back to the present, create the milestones, figure out the behaviors, and put it in, and so forth. Do it for all of the items in your letter. And then in the next video, we're going to talk about how to make sure you actually do those things. that they don't become just a good idea that actually vanished into the ether. Make sure you subscribe, amidevereaux.com/blog or on YouTube. And in the next video, we will be talking more about making sure you actually walk out the door for that run, or make those calls for those sales, or hire that next person. Bye for now.